when you're writing a novel like this, it should own the fact that it's a novel, you know? And I, as a novelist, should be able to access techniques, access elements of storytelling that are closed off to the nonfiction writer. Otherwise, why not just write a nonfiction book?
True.
And so if you look at Map and the Scissors, there's an extended they're like dream sequences sometimes. You know, Jinnah has after Gandhi's death, Jinnah has a fever dream about Gandhi. It's very symbolic. Yes. And then he like has this rant, which he you know, he tells of the ghost of Gandhi, and they're in a limousine and he has him arrested. It's a long story, you know. It's a whole chapter of the book, but you can't do that as a nonfiction writer, because that fever dream never happened, right?
Yeah, I think those were the most beautiful parts. I mean, because you know, there would be confrontation, but you know, these parts where, you know, it was beautiful, to be honest. Those were the parts which I appreciated the most, and I was like, okay, did this really happen? Oh my gosh. You know.
But you know, the thing is, you take things that really happen, and then I take things that I made up, and I interweave them, interdigitate them, so that one gives reality to the other, and the made up stuff gives magic and power to the true stuff. And that's the art of the historical fiction. That's the art of the novel. And I think that I get bored reading historical fiction when I feel like they've taken a nonfiction book and just translated it into the language and style of a fiction book, where basically you'll have, say, a paragraph that talks about motivations for a character, and then the novelist will simply have that character talking to somebody and then saying those things. And I did not do that. I much rather would have Jinnah have a fever dream with like he has another dream where he's like on a river in a raft, and then Gandhi wants to go upstream into a waterfall. And then Jinnah's like, you know what? That's doing it the hard way. I'm going to go with the current, and I'm going to go faster than you. I'm going to go farther than you. And that's very symbolic and metaphorical, and it has no basis in reality. It's not like Jinnah ever recounted having such a fever dream, but I made it up for him, and it has a symbolic aspect to his political approach to independence. And so that's kind of how I approached you know, that element of it. So as you, just based on what we've talked about so far, you see that writing a historical fiction novel with a tremendous amount of research primarily involves cutting stuff out and making stuff up.